For 30 years, Dance Umbrella has been shaping the way dance is seen and enjoyed in the UK. Now the largest event of its kind, it returns with an outstanding range of world and UK premieres, alongside the revival of some classic work.
It's a house of many, many mansions.
The Dance Umbrella Festival has always included a wide range of work, from the most accessible to the most experimental.
To mark the 30th anniversary, the festival welcomes back a host of world-renowned choreographers whose previous appearances have contributed hugely to the vibrancy of the UK dance scene.
Make sure it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Artists like Merce Cunningham and Mark Morris from the United States, Richard Alston from London, who was in the very first festival, Jonathan Burrows, Rosemary Butcher. These are all artists with whom we've had a long relationship and who are in the festival again this year making new work.
This 30th year offers Sky Arts an opportunity to celebrate Dance Umbrella, to look forward to this year's programme and to reflect upon some seminal moments in its history.
Douglas Dunn did the very first performance in the festival. He came onto the stage at Riverside Studios and was basically crawling around on his back, not doing things that one would think of as dancing. Within a few minutes, a man was on his feet, screaming and shouting that this was the worst thing he'd ever seen and how could you possibly call this dance. Then other people were on their feet screaming and shouting and saying, this is fantastic, be quiet. And that was the best thing that ever could have happened to the festival.
Richard Alston, one of the most influential figures in British dance, performed at the very first Dance Umbrella and witnessed Dunn's significant and controversial piece.
He had a solo where in the middle he jumped up onto a hook on the wall and suspended there. And he stayed still for a long time. And an element of the audience got very restless and vocal about it. So when I was doing my solo, I thought, don't stop, whatever you do, don't stop.
What happened with Dance Umbrella was a kind of explosion of different possibilities, and a lot of it was very witty and outrageous and exploratory in an almost childlike way.
Richard Alston's company and Dance Umbrella continue this exploration by showcasing a special performance to mark both 40 years of Alston choreography and his 60th birthday. The Men in My Life is a celebration of the work that he has made with male dancers, ranging from the 1971 Strider through choreography made for Michael Clarke and Darshan Singh Buller.
Dance just disappears unless it's on film. So to look at a solo made in 1971 and to extract the essence of the movement from it and work with young dancers now, it's really exciting.
Also in his programme is the world premiere of Blowover, set to the racing pace of Philip Glass's Songs from Liquid Days.
I'm making a new piece which I've called Blowover. It's to very particular music by Philip Glass, and for me the challenge and the excitement is to ride that energy, not sit on it, but to ride it, to make it in some way visual. And so I started making a solo for Pierre, and then I added Annalie to make a duet where they don't really touch each other very much, but they're running around each other, so you build the texture. And the point is to try and make something that flies past you in such a way that it's got some of the excitement that's in the music.
Long legs, together, there. That's it. I like that. And then this is really big, good, terrific.
Dance, at its most achieved, is a very, very pure form of expression, very direct, uncluttered, as you might say, with the demands of naturalism. Dance, in many ways, can strip down to the absolute core of the impulses which human beings have.
As befits a festival that joyously mixes the accessible with the experimental, Dance Umbrella hosts a series of unusual firsts. Argentine Rodrigo Pardo's Toilet Tango is performed in the window of Bath Store on Baker Street between the 10th and 12th of October. Tiago Guedes, one of the most talked about young artists on the European scene, makes his debut with Various Materials at the Place on the 14th and 15th of October. And company Beau Geste take their wonderful duet for Man and Digger to 5 locations new to Dance Umbrella in East and West London. Two French soloists, Julie Guibert and Jean-Baptiste André, also come to Dance Umbrella for the first time. Their programme, along with Letizia Renzini, Rosemary Butcher and the daring in-your-face Nigel Charnock, are all part of a series being labelled as Out There. Fascinating, genre-defying performances which challenge accepted notions of contemporary dance. Dance Umbrella's Brief Encounter series returns, giving a platform to new choreographers and dancers in which short works are performed prior to main stage shows. This year they welcome Rachel Crichet, Cecile Feza-Bushidi and Tuza Company, a dynamic programme of duets curated by Hakeem Onibudu.
Tuza Company was actually a challenge initially to the hip-hop based companies to produce a piece of work based on only two dancers and to explore the concept of what is a duet.
There are two duets, Circular Disorientation by Impact Dance and One by C12 Dance Theatre.
Hip-hop dance theatre can encompass lots of different emotions. It's not just an aggressive motion. It could be a story about anything, a relationship. The art, the style, the genre is used to amplify something. Hence, in the case of Circular Disorientation, we're using the movement to amplify what the hip-hop culture is about.
You can catch Tuza Company on the 4th and 5th of October at the South Bank's Purcell Room. Perhaps the most exciting development this year is the large-scale commission Overture 2012, a new work by choreographer Royston Muldoon, acclaimed internationally for his work with young people, and who returns to London for the first time in a decade. Overture 2012 is performed by 120 young Londoners aged 8 to 17, set to Shostakovich's monumental Symphony No. 10 and played live by the London Symphony Orchestra at the Royal Albert Hall on the 1st and 2nd of November.
These huge enterprises like the Shostakovich 10th ballet at the Albert Hall is incredibly exhilarating to me. And I think a central part of that has been the idea of interesting children, young people, very young people, in the whole range of possibilities of movement and extending their idea of the possible vocabulary of dance.
Familiar contemporary dance names from the US also grace this year's lineup.
Mark Morris, Dance Umbrella first brought to this country in the mid-'80s when his company was very small and completely unknown. Merce Cunningham's company first came to London with Dance Umbrella in 1989, has been a major influence on many, many choreographers, and the public has come to appreciate his work, which is sometimes very ahead of its time. Stephen Petronio is a little bit different. He first came to Dance Umbrella as a virtually unknown choreographer. In fact, he credits Dance Umbrella with opening up his possibilities in the European circuit. We're thrilled to have him back at Queen Elizabeth Hall in a program of works with commissioned music by Rufus Wainwright, Fisher Spooner, and also music by Antony of Antony and the Johnsons. And it's going to be a great evening.
The international range and flavour of the festival is one of its hallmarks. As well as US choreography, Canada's O Vertigo restages La Chambre Blanche on the 10th and 11th of October. The piece explores the behaviour of a group of men and women when they are confined within a stark white room. Israel's Batsheva Dance Company, one of the most sought-after companies in the world, offers a week-long programme of performances starting at Sadler's Wells and then continuing at the Riverside Studios. And Scottish Ballet also make a welcome visit to London, with pieces by a trio of choreographers with deep-rooted connections to Dance Umbrella being performed at the South Bank Centre's Queen Elizabeth Hall on the 4th and 5th of October. This year promises to be one of the very best Dance Umbrellas, reuniting audiences with names from its illustrious 30-year history, as well as introducing a great wealth of new dancing and choreographing talent.
30 years later, Dance Umbrella, I think it's really safe to say, is still in the forefront of innovation, bringing new things, breaking new ground.
If I think about the history of Dance Umbrella, in 1978 people didn't move very much. And now, movement is much, much more part of life. And so dance is quite clearly more accessible. It's seen as more normal.
The whole question of what dance is, what it's for, what it means, what the possibilities of its expressive force are, is very, very alive.
Happy birthday, Dance Umbrella.